Breaking news! You're not going to believe this. I confess I don't understand a thing. The Baltimore Ravens' ongoing saga with Diontae Johnson just took another bizarre turn. I'll tell you everything that's been going on behind the scenes, but before I go any further, make sure you've hit the like button if you've been a Baltimore Ravens fan for over 17 years. It's great to see fans of all ages. Some people here were at the Ravens' first game. That's awesome. If possible, comment like this: "My heart is purple and black." So let's get to the point. As if things couldn't get any weirder, the team released a statement confirming that they have mutually agreed to release Diontae Johnson from all team activities this week. If you're confused, you're not alone. Ravens fans everywhere are scratching their heads. Johnson, who was already suspended for the Giants game, will now also miss the game against the Steelers, leaving everyone wondering, what the hell is going on here? Let's break this down. The Ravens are making one thing clear: they're holding all the cards in this impasse. After acquiring Diontae Johnson in a low-risk trade earlier this season, things went downhill almost immediately. He didn't play a snap against the Philadelphia Eagles, missed the Giants game after being suspended, and now he's out again this week. The weirdest part? This mutual agreement seems anything but mutual. For head coach John Harbaugh, it's all about focus. When asked about Johnson, Harbaugh made it clear: "All I'm thinking about right now is Pittsburgh and getting our team ready for Pittsburgh. He's not going to be here this week, and next week will take care of itself." But what's the real reason the Ravens won't release Johnson? Harbaugh dodged the question with a classic answer: "There are reasons for doing it. Front office type reasons." Translation: the Ravens aren't going to let Johnson get away with this. Releasing him would mean he could sign with another AFC powerhouse, like the Chiefs, Bills, or even the Steelers. And let's be honest, if Johnson suddenly found success elsewhere, it would make Baltimore look like they screwed up this whole situation. So instead of cutting him, the Ravens are keeping him in limbo, effectively freezing him out for the season. This strategy sends a message, both to Johnson and the rest of the league. The Ravens aren't playing games, even if this ordeal feels like one. Each week, the situation grows more bizarre. Will Johnson ever suit up for Baltimore again? At this point, it doesn't look likely. And if he doesn't play for the Ravens, it's safe to assume he won't be playing for anyone else either. But Johnson isn't the only storyline in Baltimore right now. One player we didn't see much of against the Giants was linebacker Trenton Simpson. Harbaugh addressed it, explaining that Simpson is a young guy who's taking a bit of a breather as the veterans handle business. While Simpson wasn't necessarily bad, it seems the coaching staff wants to give him a step back for now. And speaking of young players, let's talk about Jordan Stout. If you were surprised to see Stout handling kickoffs against the Giants, you're not alone. Harbaugh revealed that they wanted to give Stout some game reps to get him more experience. Could this signal a permanent change? It's too early to say, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. For now, Justin Tucker remains the guy for clutch field goals, though this season has seen some uncharacteristic struggles from him. On the punt return front, Harbaugh confirmed a change. Desmond King will take over duties from Tylan Wallace. Wallace had his moments, like that thrilling Rams punt return last season, but overall his performance this year has been shaky.
Between questionable decisions and a few costly mistakes, it seems Harbaugh finally said, "Enough is enough." Enter Desmond King, who brings a new dynamic to the return game and hopefully some much-needed stability. The Ravens' special teams have been a roller coaster this season, but they're making adjustments. Harbaugh also shared that cornerback Jalen Armour-Davis missed the Giants game due to a soft tissue injury, a term Ravens fans have unfortunately heard too often. Injuries continue to be a factor as the Ravens gear up for the critical final stretch of the season, with the Steelers looming large. Now, let's shift gears to a fan favorite, Keaton Mitchell. Fans were left puzzled when Mitchell didn't play against the Giants. Many expected him to have a bigger role, but instead, it was rookie Rasheen Ali closing out the game. Harbaugh didn't give a clear reason, but one possibility is that the Ravens are being cautious with Mitchell's health. Maybe he's not 100%, and the coaching staff wants to avoid risking further injury. Either way, Ravens fans are eager to see Mitchell back on the field, and it'll be interesting to see how Baltimore handles the running back rotation moving forward. At the end of the day, the Ravens situation is anything but dull. Between the Diontae Johnson drama, changes in special teams, and questions surrounding young players like Trenton Simpson and Keaton Mitchell, there's plenty for fans to chew on. But one thing is clear, the Ravens are laser-focused on the Steelers. A win this week could lock up a playoff spot and give Baltimore a shot at the AFC North crown. For Lamar Jackson and this team, it's all about taking care of business. So now I want to hear from you, Ravens flock. What do you think about the Diontae Johnson situation? Should the Ravens just cut him loose, or do you agree with how they're handling it? And what are your thoughts on the changes to special teams? Let me know in the comments, and as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more Ravens updates. Let's get this win against Pittsburgh. The Diontae Johnson situation feels like a never-ending story, and the way the Ravens are handling it has everyone talking. On one hand, their refusal to release him makes perfect sense. Why would they give a potential AFC rival the chance to scoop him up? The Ravens made a trade for Johnson, and while it hasn't worked out so far, letting him go would only highlight the failure. Instead, they're taking a hardline approach, sending a message that they won't be taken advantage of. But let's be real, as the weeks go by and Johnson remains sidelined, it's getting harder not to ask, what's the endgame here? The front office clearly believes they're doing what's best for the team. Harbaugh said it himself, there are front office type reasons behind this decision. That likely means General Manager Eric DeCosta and company are weighing every angle, thinking not just about this season but about the long-term impact of their choices. If Johnson were to join a contender like the Chiefs or Bills and thrive, the Ravens would look like the losers of the deal. But by keeping him inactive, they hold all the leverage. The question is, how long can they keep this up? And is this situation creating unnecessary distraction for a team trying to secure a playoff spot? This Saturday's game against the Steelers couldn't come at a more crucial time. Not only is it a classic AFC North rivalry, but it's a must-win for the Ravens. Beating Pittsburgh would not only punch Baltimore's ticket to the playoffs but also keep their hopes for the AFC North title alive. Lamar Jackson knows what's at stake, and you better believe he's locked in. After all, the Steelers have had his number in recent matchups, and it's time to change that narrative. The good news? The Ravens' offense looked sharp against the Giants. Sure, there were penalties, over 100 yards worth, which is unacceptable, but the offense moved the ball up and down the field with ease. Lamar's chemistry with his receivers, especially Mark Andrews and Zay Flowers, continues to grow, and the running game remains a strength. Even with some key players sidelined, Baltimore showed they can dominate when they play clean, efficient football. On defense, the Ravens are still one of the most dangerous units in the league. But let's not sugarcoat it, there are areas that need improvement, particularly in the middle of the field. Opposing offenses have been able to exploit short routes and intermediate passes over the linebackers, and that's something Baltimore will have to clean up heading into the postseason. That said, the pass rush continues to be a bright spot, and the Ravens' defensive line has been relentless in getting after quarterbacks. Against Pittsburgh, that pressure will be critical, especially if the Ravens want to force turnovers and keep the Steelers' offense out of rhythm. Special teams, as always, remains an area to watch. Jordan Stout handling kickoffs against the Giants raised some eyebrows, but Harbaugh's explanation makes sense. Getting Stout reps now could pay dividends later, especially if the Ravens are looking to keep Justin Tucker fresh for field goals. Speaking of Tucker, seeing him make all 5 of his extra points against New York was a welcome sight. Let's face it, Tucker hasn't been himself this season. But if the Ravens are going to make a deep playoff run, they'll need him to be the clutch, reliable kicker we've all come to know. The punt return game, now in the hands of Desmond King, is another storyline to keep an eye on. King brings experience and a steadier presence than Tylan Wallace, who struggled with decision-making earlier this season. It's a small adjustment, but in tight games, like the ones we often see in the AFC North, special teams can be the difference between a win and a loss. Looking ahead, there's still some uncertainty surrounding key players like Keaton Mitchell. Fans have been clamoring to see more of the explosive rookie, but the Ravens seem content to bring him along slowly. Whether that's due to health concerns or simply a strategic decision, it's clear the coaching staff is playing the long game. And with the postseason right around the corner, having Mitchell at full strength could be a game-changer for Baltimore's offense. As we head into this crucial showdown with Pittsburgh, the Ravens find themselves at a crossroads. The Diontae Johnson saga continues to dominate headlines, but the team can't afford to let it become a distraction. Harbaugh has made it clear, the focus is on beating the Steelers and securing a playoff berth. And if there's one thing we know about the Ravens, it's that they thrive when their backs are against the wall. So, Ravens flock, I want to hear from you. Do you think the team is handling the Diontae Johnson situation the right way? Should they release him and move on, or is keeping him sidelined the right call? And what's your confidence level heading into the Steelers game? Can Lamar and the Ravens finally put an end to Pittsburgh's dominance in this rivalry? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more Ravens content. This week is huge, and I'll be right here breaking it all down for you. Let's go get that win. Playoffs, here we come.